Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi addresses the United Nations General Assembly. What did he have to say about the DPRK nuclear issue and other major concerns? Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. Leaders and their representatives from all over the world are gathered in New York this week for the United Nations General Assembly meeting. On Thursday, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi addressed the UN event and outlined China's perspective on some major issues. And he addressed one of the biggest global concerns right now, the ongoing DPRK nuclear crisis. For much more on Wang Yi's address, joining us now from the United Nations in New York is CGTN correspondent Nathan King. And Nathan, you were there at the UN to watch the minister's speech. What were some of the major points he touched on?
Yeah, thanks, Anna. Quite a wide-ranging speech, quite an optimistic speech also to begin with, saying never before have we seen so many opportunities in science, technology, globalization. It was really a call for more opening up of the world rather than shutting down through national barriers. But he did make a stark warning, said that the world is actually at a crossroads between war and peace, unity and disunity. And of course, the DPRK, as you know, and the tensions there on the Korean Peninsula have been overshadowing this meeting, and that was a large portion of his speech. In fact, he took us back to a time 12 years ago when there was a statement from the six-party talks, which, you know, China helped bring about, in fact, was instrumental in bringing about, where there was a roadmap, if you like, for the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and security guarantees for the North and a reduction of tensions. We haven't been there in a while. We've had 7 nuclear tests, 9 UN sanctions resolutions. But let's take a listen of how he sees the way forward.
There should be no new nuclear weapons state, whether it is in the north or the south of the peninsula, whether it is in Northeast Asia or in other parts of the world. We urge the DPRK not to go further along a dangerous direction. We call upon the U.S. to honor its 4-no commitment, and we call upon all parties to play a constructive role in easing tensions. There is still hope for peace, and we must not give up. Negotiation is the only way, which deserves every effort. Parties must meet each other halfway by addressing each other's legitimate concerns.
Now, you heard the phrase 4 no's there. Basically, what that's referring to is what U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said, that there's 4 no's of U.S. policy when it comes to DPRK, trying to reassure Pyongyang and Washington. No regime collapse, no regime change, no forced reunification of the Korean Peninsula, and no U.S. troops north of the 38th parallel that divides the two countries. That's what Wang Yi was reaching out to, Rex Tillerson's reassurances to Pyongyang, not the rhetoric that perhaps we've heard from Rex Tillerson's boss, of course, the U.S. President Donald Trump, where he threatened to destroy the country of the DPRK if they sent a missile to allies or to the US. So it's a reaching out for some sort of common ground. Very, very interesting here. Let's see if it gets some take-up. We'll have to wait and see.
Thanks, Nathan. CGTN's Nathan King there reporting from the United Nations in New York.